The November rain pelted against the windows of the Montero family home in Arlington, Virginia, creating a rhythmic backdrop to the monthly gathering that Lara had come to dread. She sat at the far end of the dining table, laptop closed beside her plate, watching steam rise from her untouched mashed potatoes. "So, Lara," her brother Marcus began, that familiar smirk already forming, "still doing your, what do you call it? Freelance consulting?" He made air quotes around the words, drawing a chuckle from their cousin Elena. Their mother, Patricia, sighed deeply while passing the green beans. "I just don't understand why you won't accept your uncle's offer at the accounting firm. A real job, with benefits, stability." "Mom, I have a real job," Lara replied quietly, her fingers unconsciously tracing the edge of her laptop. "Sitting in coffee shops isn't a job, mija," her father Roberto interjected, not looking up from carving the turkey. "When I came to this country, I worked 16-hour days to build something solid. Your brother understands this. Tell her about your promotion, Marcus." As Marcus launched into his story about becoming senior account manager at his consulting firm, Lara's phone vibrated against her leg. A single message appeared on the encrypted app. "Package arriving tomorrow. Prep for extraction protocols." She slipped the phone back into her pocket, maintaining her practiced expression of mild disinterest as Elena's husband, David, joined the conversation. "You know, Lara, my company is hiring social media managers. It's not exactly high-level work, but it would be a start. Better than whatever it is you're doing now." "I appreciate the offer," Lara said, cutting her turkey with deliberate precision. "But I'm good." "Good?" Patricia's voice rose slightly. "You're 32 years old, living in a studio apartment, no retirement plan, no health insurance through an employer." "I have health insurance," Lara interrupted. "Through the marketplace doesn't count," Marcus added, earning approving nods from around the table. The conversation continued its familiar pattern. Each family member took turns expressing concern that bordered on condescension, offering advice she hadn't asked for, presenting opportunities she didn't need. They painted her life as a series of failures and missed chances, never once asking what she actually did during those long hours at her computer. Lara excused herself to the bathroom, where she quickly checked the secure partition on her phone. Satellite images of a server farm in Eastern Europe filled the screen. She memorized the layout in 30 seconds, deleted the file, and returned to dinner. "We're just worried about you," her mother was saying as Lara sat back down. "When we tell people what you do, or don't do, it's embarrassing." "Then don't tell them anything," Lara suggested, her voice steady despite the sting. Roberto shook his head. "This generation, thinking they can make a living playing on computers. In your day, the internet didn't exist," Lara said, finally allowing an edge into her voice. "The world has changed, Dad." "Not that much," Elena chimed in. "Real careers still require showing up to an office, having colleagues, building a reputation." Lara almost laughed. If only they knew about her reputation in certain circles. The analyst who had identified and neutralized the Crimson Protocol before it could take down the Eastern Seaboard power grid, the one they called Ghost in secure channels, who could trace financial networks and decode encrypted communications faster than entire teams at the NSA. But she said nothing. She nodded at appropriate intervals, deflected the more pointed criticisms, and counted down the minutes until she could leave. As she finally stood to go, her mother pulled her aside in the foyer. "Your father and we just want you to be secure, to have something substantial." Lara hugged her mother, feeling the weight of all the secrets between them. "I know, Mom. I'm more secure than you think." Patricia patted her cheek with that mixture of love and disappointment that had become her signature expression. "If you say so, mija, but freelancing? It's not a career. It's just playing pretend." The rain had turned to sleet as Lara walked to her car. Her phone buzzed again. This time, the message was longer. "Silent storm is go. Briefing at 600. Transportation arranged." She sat in her car for a moment, watching the house through the rain-streaked windshield. Inside, she could see her family still gathered around the table, probably discussing her lack of direction now that she'd left. Tomorrow, she would prevent a global catastrophe. Tonight, she was just the family disappointment. She drove away into the wet darkness, already running penetration scenarios in her mind. Chapter 2. Behind the screen. The Starbucks on K Street was Lara's third office of the day. She'd started at a small cafe in DuPont Circle at 5 a.m., moved to a bookstore coffee shop in Georgetown by 8, and would relocate twice more before evening. To anyone watching, she was just another remote worker in DC, bouncing between Wi-Fi hotspots. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, code streaming across multiple terminal windows. To the barista who brought her third Americano, it probably looked like gibberish. In reality, She was tracking packet transfers through a series of proxy servers, following digital breadcrumbs that led from a seemingly innocent mobile gaming company in Singapore to a military installation outside Moscow. Working hard or hardly working? Lara glanced up to find Tom Harrison sliding into the seat across from her. To everyone else in the coffee shop, he looked like any other government contractor in his bland suit and forgettable face. She knew him as her handler at the Defense Intelligence Agency. Bit of both, she replied, her fingers never stopping. Thought we agreed on no contact during active operations. Exceptional circumstances. Tom's voice was barely above a whisper. He pulled out his own laptop, angling it so they appeared to be having a work meeting. The timeline moved up. We need Silent Storm operational in 18 hours. That's impossible. Lara's typing paused for the first time. I haven't finished mapping their defensive infrastructure. If we move too early, orders from the top. Something spooked them. Tom's fingers drummed nervously on the table. The entire Eastern European power grid is at risk. If these actors succeed, millions without power in winter, economic collapse, international crisis. Lara resumed typing, her mind already recalculating. I need a secure location and a better connection. Safe House Bravo is compromised. Charlie is too far. Tom slid a keycard across the table, concealed under a napkin. Emergency site, Georgetown. Everything you need is there. A group of young professionals entered the coffee shop, loud with post-work energy. One of them, a woman in her late 20s, spotted Lara and waved enthusiastically. Shit, Lara muttered. Incoming. Lara! Oh my God, is that you? The woman, who Lara vaguely recognized as a friend of Elena's, approached their table. What are you doing here? Working on your freelance stuff? Hi, Jessica. Lara forced a smile, subtly closing her laptop screens. Just finishing up a project. Jessica's eyes swept over Tom dismissively, clearly categorizing him as another freelancer. You should come out with us. We're celebrating Brad's promotion to VP. Real corporate ladder stuff, you know? Thanks, but I need to finish this. Still grinding away at all hours? Jessica's sympathy was suffocating. You know, I heard Marcus mention you're still doing the whole digital nomad thing. That must be so unstable. Tom coughed slightly. They were losing time. It has its moments, Lara said evenly. But I should really... Elena told me your parents are worried sick. Have you thought about maybe transitioning to something more traditional? I mean, at our age, it's time to think about the future, right? Lara felt her jaw clench. 18 hours to prevent an international crisis, and she was being lectured about career choices by someone who spent her days optimizing social media engagement for a juice company. I'll think about it, Lara said. But right now... Oh, I'm being pushy, aren't I? Jessica laughed, not sounding sorry at all. It's just, seeing you here, working alone, it seems so lonely. Anyway, offer stands if you want to network with some real professionals. She bounced away to rejoin her group, leaving a wake of perfume and condescension. Tom waited until she was out of earshot. Real professionals? Welcome to my life. Lara reopened her laptop. Every family gathering, every chance encounter. They see the coffee shops and the laptop and assume I'm playing pretend entrepreneur. If they only knew. They can't know. That's the point. She pulled up the encrypted files again. 18 hours. I'll need direct access to the DoD satellites and a clean pipe to Langley's servers. All at the safe house. Tom stood, leaving his untouched coffee on the table. Lara, this one's big. If we fail, we won't. Her voice carried the quiet confidence that had made her legendary in intelligence circles. I've been tracking these actors for 3 months. They're good, but they're arrogant. They left gaps. Your family really has no idea. Do they? Lara looked up at him, then glanced at Jessica's group, now taking selfies by the window. They think I'm wasting my life. Let them. Tom left first, following protocol. Lara waited exactly 4 minutes before packing up. As she headed for the door, she heard Jessica's voice carry across the shop. Yeah, that was Marcus Montero's sister, the one who can't hold down a real job. Still freelancing at her age, can you imagine? Outside, the DC evening was crisp and clear. Lara hailed a cab, giving an address 3 blocks from the actual safe house. In 18 hours, she would either save the power grid for half of Europe or watch the world plunge into chaos. But first, she had to endure 6 more text messages from her mother about job opportunities at her friend's son's startup. The cab pulled away from the curb as Lara mentally switched into full operational mode. The family drama, the condescension, the constant questioning of her choices, all of it faded into background noise. She had work to do. Chapter 3. The Storm Breaks. The safe house was a nondescript brownstone tucked between embassy residences in Georgetown. From the outside, it looked abandoned, Newspapers piling up, paint peeling strategically. Inside, it housed more processing power than most university computer labs. Lara had been working for 14 straight hours. Empty energy drink cans formed an aluminum fortress around her workstation. 5 monitors displayed different data streams: satellite feeds, network traffic analysis, encrypted communications she was decoding in real time. The hackers, a coordinated cell spanning 3 countries, had been probing the power grid's vulnerabilities for months. What they didn't know was that Lara had been probing them right back, inserting invisible tracking codes into their own malware, turning their weapons against them. Her phone, set to silent, lit up with another barrage of family messages. The group chat was active tonight. Mom. Found another job posting. Customer Success Manager at Tech Solutions, Inc. Sending you the link. Marcus. Mom. She won't apply. Still thinks her laptop lifestyle is sustainable. Elena. Maybe if we all chip in for career coaching for Christmas? Lara deleted the notifications without reading the rest. 3 hours until the hackers planned 0 hour. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, executing a script that would reverse trace their command structure. Then she saw it. A spike in traffic from an unexpected node. Moscow was running a parallel operation she hadn't detected. Fuck. She grabbed the secure phone, speed dialing Tom. We have a problem. There's a second cell. How did we miss it? They've been dark until now. Completely different infrastructure. She pulled up satellite imagery on another screen. They're targeting the backup systems. If both cells strike simultaneously, the fail-safes won't hold. Full grid collapse. Lara was already adapting, her mind racing through possibilities. I need authorization for Pandora Protocol. Silence on the line. Pandora was the nuclear option, an aggressive counterstrike that would fry the attackers' systems but risked exposure of U.S. cyber capabilities. Lara, that's 15 minutes until they launch. It's Pandora or we watch Europe go dark. More silence. She could hear muffled voices in the background, urgent discussions. Her personal phone lit up again. A text from her father. Your brother just closed $1 million deal. When you're ready to get serious about life, we're here. You have authorization. Tom's voice came back. God help us. Lara's hands moved with practiced precision. She activated backdoors she'd planted weeks ago, navigated through layers of encryption, and began uploading the Pandora payload. On her screens, she watched the hackers' final preparations, oblivious to the storm about to hit them. 7 minutes to 0 hour. The upload crawled forward. 75%, 78%, 80%. Her secure phone rang. Not Tom. A blocked number. Montero. She answered without looking away from the screens. This is Director Walsh, the head of the DIA himself. I'm watching your progress. The president has been briefed. Understood, sir. 85%, 87%. Whatever happens, you've given us a fighting chance. Your country owes you a debt. Just doing my job, sir. 90%, 92%. Your job? A slight chuckle. Agent Montero, you're preventing World War III from a Georgetown safe house. That's not a job. That's heroism. 95%, 96%. 4 minutes to 0 hour. On another monitor, she watched the Moscow cell initiate their attack sequence. The grid defenders wouldn't see it coming from 2 directions. 97%, 98%. Her personal phone buzzed insistently. A call from her mother, then another, then Marcus. Something was wrong at home, but she couldn't. 99%, 100%. Pandora deployed, she announced. On her screens, she watched the digital explosion ripple through the hackers' networks. Their secure servers began failing in cascade, malware turning inward, eating their own systems alive. The Moscow cell's feed went dark first, then Singapore, then the coordinating node in Serbia. The power grid attacks, milliseconds from launching, dissolved into corrupted code. Target neutralized, she reported, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. Both cells are down. The grid is secure. Cheers erupted from Tom's end of the line. Director Walsh's voice cut through. Outstanding work, Montero. We'll need you for debrief in... Sir, Tom's voice interrupted, urgent. Turn on CNN. Lara reached for the safe house's remote, flipping to the news channel. Her blood froze. Breaking news banner. Pentagon emergency press conference. Major cyber attack prevented. What the hell? She stood, exhaustion forgotten. This was supposed to stay classified for decades. On screen, she watched Secretary of Defense James Crawford approach the podium, his face grave. Ladies and gentlemen, 90 minutes ago, a coordinated cyber attack targeting the European power grid was neutralized by American intelligence assets. This attack, had it succeeded, would have plunged 13 nations into darkness during winter, potentially causing thousands of deaths and economic devastation on an unprecedented scale. Lara sank back into her chair. They never went public this fast. Never. Crawford continued. The operation to stop this attack, codenamed Silent Storm, represents one of the most successful cyber defense actions in our nation's history. While operational security prevents us from sharing all details, the American people deserve to know that their safety was preserved by the brilliant work of our intelligence community. Why are they? Lara began. Politics. Director Walsh's voice was grim. The White House needs a win. They're burning the operation for publicity points. Sir, my cover will be protected as long as possible. But Montero, classifications have levels. This is coming from the very top. On screen, a reporter raised her hand. Mr. Secretary, can you tell us anything about the team that prevented this attack? Crawford hesitated, glanced off camera, then back to the podium. The operation was led by one of our most capable cyber warfare specialists. For security reasons, I cannot provide additional details at this time. Lara's personal phone exploded with notifications. 43 missed calls, over 100 texts. The family group chat was in meltdown mode. She picked up the phone with trembling fingers, scrolling through the messages. Elena, Lara, answer your phone. Marcus, they're saying it was someone named Montero who led the operation. Mom, the news says L. Montero. Lara, that's not. It can't be. Dad, answer your phone now. The secure phone rang again. Tom this time. Lara, I'm sorry, they're going to release more. How much more? The president wants to give a primetime address, highlight the success. They're planning to declassify portions of Silent Storm and? Your name. Not your full identity, but enough. Lara closed her eyes. Years of carefully maintained cover, about to evaporate for a political win. How long do I have? The address is tomorrow night, after Sunday dinner. The irony wasn't lost on her. She looked at her phone again. A new text from her mother. Please tell me you're safe. Please tell me this isn't what you've been doing. For the first time in her career, Lara didn't know what to say. Chapter 4. The revelation Sunday arrived with unseasonable warmth for November. Lara sat in her car outside her parents' house, engine off, watching her family through the dining room window. They were all there, early for once. She could see them huddled around Marcus's laptop, gesturing animatedly. Her phone had been off since yesterday. Tom had offered to extract her, set her up with a new identity somewhere quiet. She'd declined. After 5 years of hiding in plain sight, perhaps it was time. She walked to the door and knocked. The house fell silent. Elena opened the door, her face a mixture of shock and something like fear. Lara? Hi, Elena. Am I late for dinner? We've been calling. I know. May I come in? The walk to the dining room felt endless. Her family stood frozen around the table, her father still holding a serving spoon midair. On Marcus's laptop, paused on the screen, was Secretary Crawford's press conference. Sit, her mother whispered. Please, Mija. Sit and explain. Lara took her usual seat at the far end of the table. For once, no one commented on the laptop bag she set beside her chair. The news, her father began, his voice hoarse. They're saying, it's true. The words hung in the air like suspended gravity. You're not a freelancer, Marcus stated rather than asked. I am, technically. I contract with the government. Have been for 5 years. 5 years? Her mother's hand went to her chest. All those family dinners, all those times we said, I couldn't tell you. I wanted to, especially when, Lara paused, choosing her words carefully. When you thought I was wasting my life. But operational security? Operational security? Her father set down the spoon with a clatter. You're talking like a spy. Intelligence analyst, Lara corrected gently. Specializing in cyber warfare. David, who had been silent until now, leaned forward. The Pentagon briefing said the operation prevented a massive attack, that you prevented it. My team and I. Yes. Your team? Elena's voice was faint. You have a team? I lead a distributed unit of analysts. We work remotely, which is why I'm always in coffee shops. Different locations, different IP addresses. It's safer. Her mother stood abruptly, walked to the kitchen, then returned. She repeated this twice before speaking. The times you couldn't come to birthdays, missed holidays. I was working. Beijing Olympics. Prevented an infrastructure attack. Christmas 2019. Stopped a hospital ransomware that would have crippled emergency services. Last Easter. Stop. Patricia held up her hand. Just stop. Silence descended again. On the laptop screen, the paused video showed a map of Europe with power grid overlays. Marcus cleared his throat. So when I said your laptop lifestyle wasn't sustainable, You were working to prevent global catastrophes, he finished. Something like that. Why didn't you just tell us? The hurt in her father's voice was sharp. We're your family. Because I love you. Lara met each of their eyes in turn. Because if certain organizations knew I had family, you'd become leverage. Because every dismissive comment, every concerned lecture, every attempt to find me a real job was proof that my cover was working. You believing I was a failure kept you safe. Elena's husband stood suddenly. I offered you a job as a social media manager. Despite everything, Lara smiled. I appreciated the gesture. I called you directionless, her mother whispered, at every holiday to anyone who would listen. I said my daughter was wasting her potential. You were protecting me without knowing it. A disappointment daughter draws no attention. No one looks twice at a freelancer in a coffee shop. Her phone, the secure one, buzzed. Tom's number. I need to take this, Lara said, then answered. Montero. 8 p.m. address is confirmed. They're going to mention you by name, show your official photo. DIA is preparing for the aftermath. You need to... I'm with my family. Pause. Are you secure? Lara looked around the table at the faces she'd protected through years of lies. Yes, I'm secure. She ended the call and set the phone down. 8 p.m.? Marcus had always been quick. That's in 3 hours. The president is giving an address about the operation. They're going to identify me publicly. But your cover, Elena began. Ends tonight. Lara straightened in her chair. Which means I can finally tell you the truth.